How can I save on taxes and fees when I'm selling a property? Rob Wilson with South Tampa Teardowns.com. Just wanting to share some tips that some of our home sellers are benefiting from when they're selling properties to builders and frankly to other people too. This could apply to anybody. But I've got 4 quick tips for you in terms of saving on taxes and fees if you're selling a property. Number 1, let the buyer pay for them. You've got things like dock stamps and title expenses and things like that a lot of cases you can negotiate and ask the buyer to pay for them, regardless of or if that buyer's a builder or not. The agreement that we have with our builders is that when they write an offer, they're going to pay for all the commissions, all the closing costs. You don't have to worry about those expenses. You don't have to worry about repairs. So long story short, a quick way to save anywhere between 1.5% and 2% of the purchase price when you're selling a property is to have the buyer pay those fees like dock stamps, title insurance, and other closing costs. Number 2, understand property tax portability with Florida's Save Our Homes Amendment. So Save Our Homes has been around for a long time. It caps your property taxes at 3% from what they were the year before. So that's why a lot of families think, well, I could never leave my house because I lived here 30, 40, 50 years. And let's just say, for example, I'm paying somewhere between $500 and $1,000 for property taxes. You can afford that, but if you move to a house that's, say, $250,000, $300,000, you might be paying $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in property taxes, and you might not want to make that move because of that additional expense. It's hundreds of dollars a month, $300, $400, $500 a month. Except in 2008, right after the crash, they amended it to make that benefit that you've accumulated over 20, 30, 40 years, it's portable. So if you're in a house that's about $250,000, you sell it for $250,000, and you're paying, let's say $1,000 in property taxes. If you moved, you might be paying $4,000 in property taxes under the old rule. And I think a lot of people, because of the housing crash, and then they couldn't move and things like that, this kind of slipped under the radar. That $3,000 benefit roughly in the example, where the new house you'd have a $4,000 tax bill, but in your old house you had a $1,000 tax bill, that's portable. So your new property, you'll pay about $1,000 in property taxes because of that property tax portability, assuming it's a lateral move. If you go up, you might pay a little more. If you go down, the benefit might be a little less, but the point is you can still have an affordable property tax bill, even if you sell one home and move into another. Tip number 3, let's say it's a rental property, 1031 exchange. Now, this doesn't apply if you totally want to get out of the landlord business, but if you're selling one property to purchase another rental property, you can do something under Part 1031 of the IRS code, a 1031 exchange. And we've got the right people for you to talk to about this, because you can't put the money in your bank and then go out and buy the property. It has to go in a little bit of a trust fund through I think it's like an authorized 1031 exchanger or something like that. But basically, they hold that money in trust until you purchase the new property. And they allow you to do that without experiencing the capital gains tax that you would otherwise have. And this allows you to grow your rental portfolio until you totally get out. Now, when you totally get out, you still have to pay capital gains taxes. But the good news is, if you sell a property and you've got a $300,000 profit, you can roll those proceeds into the next property, and no property taxes today, but only when you finally get out of the landlord business and sell all of your property would you have to do that, or finally sell without purchasing another property, to be more precise. Finally, tip number 4, live in your house 2 years. If you live in your property, your house, for 2 out of the last 5 years, you can either save a portion or all of the capital gains. So if you've got a property, it's been your homestead the entire time, and you're going to go out and buy another homestead property, as long as you've lived in that property 2 years, and to be more precise, 24 months. So it can't be, oh, I bought it in December of 2016 and now I'm going to sell it in January of 2018. That's 14 months. If you bought it in February, or you moved into it in February of, say, 2017, and you held off until February of 2019 to sell it, preferably after the day that you moved in 2 years ago, you will either save a portion or the entire capital gains tax event. So that's an exciting thing too. So just quickly to review, to save on taxes and fees when you're selling a property, number one, let the buyer pay for things like the closing costs, the transaction fees, the doc stamps, which are a tax paid to the state of Florida. Number two, understand property tax portability and the fact that you can sell a property today and move that property tax benefit that you've accumulated over 20, 30, 40 years to your new homestead property. That's really dramatically changed a lot of our sellers and their quality of life, going from a house that's literally falling down to a nicer, newer home in a different part of town. Number three, if it's a rental property, buy another rental property. Make sure you do a 1031 exchange the right way. Call me anytime for tips on that. Happy to help. 813-784-4199. I'm Rob Wilson, the director of Dirt with Exit Bayshore Realty. That's one of the things that I do for the folks that are selling to one of our builders. And then finally, number four, if it's a homesteaded property, make sure you've lived in it for 2 years, because that can also dramatically change, if not eliminate, your capital gains taxes on up to $250,000 for a single person, $500,000 for a married couple if you're selling one property. And it really doesn't matter if you're going to buy another homestead property. It's just, if that was your homestead for 2 out of the last 5 years, you're going to save on those capital gains taxes, and it can be really substantial. So anyway, my name is Rob Wilson. I'm the director of Dirt with Exit Bayshore Realty. I run a website called South Tampa Teardowns.com. If you're looking for a fair offer fast from a builder in South Tampa, you know your property's a tear down, or it's just old and maybe you're just wanting to see what the market will get you, give me a call. I'm at 813-784-4199. I don't want to list your property. I want to bring you a fair offer from one of our builders. I'll also show you what comps are selling for in the neighborhood, just like a typical real estate agent. But instead of listing the property, showing it 100 times and everything else, I just want to bring you an offer that's fair, that's going to allow you to make a move if that's what you're looking to do here this year in South Tampa. And if I'm tied up, if you get my voicemail, or for whatever reason, maybe I'm helping another family, you can also request your offer online at SouthTampaTeardowns.com. Thanks.